I wanted to make this video to be of service and help this individual that messaged me and also help others who are struggling. I usually receive around 40 or 50 emails a day. I work hard to get back to everyone in an expeditious manner, but I felt that this email in particular would be able to resonate with a lot of people, so I wanted to share it with the community. So this guy writes, or maybe, actually I don't know if it's a male or a female, but I'm assuming that it's a male. So hello David, so here's my story, why I'm writing, and thoughts of what you sent me an offer. It's all a real objective assessment and maybe some subtle questions mixed in that I cannot identify currently. Before I watch your YouTube videos, it's inescapable to not notice the day trading fraud services having their own commercials on your exact video clips that call them fraud criminals. LOL. Almost hilarious, ironic. Then there's you, a guy who claims to have a 90% success rate, selling the exact poison those guys tell us to buy. Math seems truly possible due to the Greeks' decay, mostly. And then there's me, 750,000 by age 30, always saved, went to top schools, went to med school. Then I was diagnosed with disabling disease with no cure that caused me to leave medicine and have a pathetically small disability temporary policy paying me every month a lot less than I used to earn. I panicked when I knew medicine was no longer my future. I decided to buy options to try and make up for lost income and trusted some of these other services you speak of. You didn't even know the biggest fraud services are those like Black Box Stocks, uses pretty girl marketing people with claims of every trade they alert working. Trader Lion claims of 100% annual share only gains. Yup, share only gains. Now back to me. I stupidly, in moments of panic in 2018, when I knew my med career was over due to health limitations, I bought options, many short dated, and managed to take 750,000 hard-earned saved money into 190,000 today. I've managed to make things even worse for myself with a limited, shitty monthly income on disability, and I'm not sure what to do from here. I've tried just about every psychiatric medicine for depression, anxiety too. These turned me into a zombie. They made me worse, so I stopped taking them. I'm trying your high-dose krill oil idea, but overall, 191,000 left and no idea of how to recover or how to trust services where I pay to hope to earn money back. I lose 550,000. Clearly, buying options is a fool's game. So, this is a little bit difficult, and I haven't really shared a lot of the emails that I receive from people previously, but I definitely think that this one is worthwhile. The first thing is, let's get into the trading. So I've never heard of Black Box Stocks. I've never heard of Trader Lion, but the reality is that and I know that a lot of people think that I'm very aggressive by constantly pounding the table on selling options. But the only way that you can consistently make money and earn predictable profits in the stock market is by selling option premium. You realize that 90 to 95% of our trades expire worthless. And the crazy thing is there are people who sell options who lose money. Like, for example, in October and December, if you traded too large, then you would have been forced to close out your positions. And because of that, you potentially could have lost, let's say, 50 or 60% of your account. I'm going to make a video today about optionsellers.com, and what happened to them is they traded too large and they got greedy and they got a little bit unlucky. So even though that trade that they put on by selling calls in natural gas after it moved up tremendously previously would probably be profitable around 80 to 90% of the time, if they had 1/10 of the position that they had on, they would right now be up money because that position has ended up normalizing and falling back. Natural gas has declined in price from where it was previously. But unfortunately, people get greedy. The reason why I'm telling you this is nothing is a guarantee. If you want to make money, then you're going to have to take some risk. And by selling options, we win 90 to 95% of our trades. But there are some people who sell options who lose money because they don't have adequate size control and they trade too many contracts. So buying options, it's just idiocy in my opinion. Yes, there are some times where you can potentially make some money and hit home runs. Like for example, Facebook this past week went up around $15 or $16 after it reported earnings. So you could have spent like $3 or $4 to buy a call option. And then when Facebook went up $15 or $16, that option would probably show you around a 300% gain. But you do that 10 times and you're only going to make money 2 or 3 times. And unfortunately, for those other 7 or 8 times, you're going to lose all the money that you invested. So it's just a matter of time before the probabilities work into play. Because remember, when we sell option premium, we're acting like the insurance salesman and like the casino. And the longer the gambler pays, or the more policies the insurance company sells, the more money they're going to make. So you have to sell option premium. It's the only way. And this is coming from someone who worked on Wall Street. I worked as an investment banker at CIBC World Markets, at Petsky Prunier, at Morgan Stanley, and I have other videos about that and about my experience. Regarding other things, so about medicine, I know the medicine field very well. My dad is a doctor and my best friend is a doctor. I can tell you that my dad did not enjoy medicine. I don't want to talk about my best friend because he currently practices, but what I can tell you is when you go through the medical training facility, when you go through medical training and you go to medical school and then you do your internship and your residency, it really beats you down. And I have noticed that a bunch of people who are doctors, they get sick because they're working a lot of hours, they're under a tremendous amount of stress. Sometimes they have to do things in medical school where they're scared to speak up because they're concerned about their grades being negatively impacted by voicing their opinion. So I definitely think that when you go into medicine, even though you might have positive intentions, at the same time, you have to understand that you're really going to be sacrificing your individuality, and it's going to be a very stressful environment where you're going to have to just subject yourself to a tremendous amount of sacrifice. Medicine overall, it's not something that I would recommend, but at the same time, there are a lot worse ways to make money. The other two things that I want to discuss, one is losing a lot of money, and the last thing would be mental health. So losing a lot of money, I just want to be honest with you. If you lost around $560,000, it looks like, you can make that money back by selling options. So can you turn $190,000 into $750,000? Yes, but it's going to take you probably around, I'd say, 2.5 to 3 years. I'm just being realistic. Now, if you want, you can try to turn that money from $190,000 into $750,000, and you can try to do it faster. The problem with that is if you assume too much risk, there's a very high chance and a very high probability that you're going to end up losing your money. And from reading your email, I definitely don't think that you want to subject yourself to more losses, because if you are on a fixed income, either you're receiving Social Security disability benefits, I definitely don't think it's worth your while for you to try to make back all of that money ASAP and take on too much risk and potentially turn that $190,000 into $85,000. What would you do then? I think that psychologically speaking, it would be devastating. So your best bet would be to accept your existing position. Look, life is very precious, and I understand that you're going through health issues, but at the same time, if you're relatively healthy regarding you're like going to the gym, you're eating well, you're able to write a coherent email, you understand trading, you do have $190,000, you have a stable income, even though it's not as much as you want, things could always be worse. You could have $20,000 or $30,000, or you could have less money. But the point that I'm saying is you have to forgive yourself for losing the money. Forgive yourself, because that money is gone. And then you should take that money and implement a very safe strategy like selling options, and over 2.5 to 3 years, there's a decent chance, and I would say probably better than 50-50, that you'll be able to turn that 190,000 back into the 750,000. Is it guaranteed? No, but what I can tell you is that if you try to make all of that $560,000 back in like a year, you're going to end up losing your money. And it happens with some of my students as well. When they sell options and they tell me that they're up like 30% in a month, I don't congratulate them. I tell them, don't do that because you're taking way too much risk. You are trading and selling options with a strike price that's way too close to the current market price, and you're also trading too many contracts. So when they tell me that they're up like 20% or 30% in a month, I don't congratulate them because I just know it's a matter of time before their aggressiveness ends up blowing up in their face. I tell them that they should target to make anywhere from 3 to 5% a month. And that is the stable return that you should target. You can choose strikes that are far away from the current market price, and you can also trade a decent amount of options, but something that if the market swoons like it did in December, you're not going to be forced into a margin call to lose money. But buying options, it's almost as bad as day trading. The last thing about mental health. So just to preface this, I am not a licensed medical professional. I am not giving you advice. I have never met with you. I don't know what the illness is that I don't know what you've been diagnosed with, but I'm just talking about depression and what I did in order to help myself. So the first thing is regarding the psychiatric medicine for depression. Anxiety has turned you into a zombie. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it does. A lot of the SSRIs, they have fluoride in them. They lower your testosterone. So you should definitely get your testosterone and also your free testosterone and see what the ratio is. Because I can tell you that once I took a lot of the medication, it decreased my testosterone to a point where it was very difficult for me to remember things, to talk clearly, to process information. Also, the SSRIs, they do have fluoride, and some of them have aluminum. So not only is it bad for your liver, so it's hepatotoxic, but it's also bad for your neurotransmitters, both your dopamine, your serotonin, and also your acetylcholine. I know that some of them are a lot better than others. For example, Wellbutrin is actually not that bad. If you can take something, because I know that Wellbutrin does not depress your sexual drive. Also, I believe that a little bit of, and this helped me, and this was back in like 2008, 2009, a little bit of Adderall. Now, Adderall can be a little bit addicting, but if you can take around 10 milligrams or 15 milligrams a day of Adderall, then that actually will help you. Now, I think that Adderall just pretty much covers it up, but it will give you a clarity of mind where you're able to get things done if you are depressed. So if you take around 10 or 15 milligrams of Adderall in a day, you should have around a 3 or 4 hour window to do your work. Now, again, you should discuss all this with your doctor, but I can just tell you what worked for me. So I got off all meds and I did things myself. You need to go to the gym. There are other things that you can do. You can take cold showers, which is going to increase the brown adipose tissue, and it's going to stimulate your immune system and also improve your mood, and because it's going to raise your endorphin level. I also have a lamp that I use, a red infrared sauna lamp, and I like to shine it on my head, and I also shine it on my balls, actually, because it increases testosterone. I know that you guys think that's probably crazy, but you can get a infrared sauna lamp. It's a red lamp, and my wife actually shines it on her face because it increases collagen production. But I shine it on my face, on my balls, and it's great. Like an infrared sauna, it's super cheap. You can get one of those Mylar blankets, and you can just create like your own little personal sauna that's going to cost you only around like $20. High dose krill oil is great. Another thing that people do besides the cold showers or going into like a cold lake is they take high dose niacin. So niacin is B3, and you want the flushing kind. So you're probably going to have to take around 4 or 5 grams of that. You should also go to the gym because it'll help stimulate a lot of the positive chemicals that you have in your body, as far as like it'll increase dopamine production and increase endorphins, and it'll help decrease some of the cortisol levels, which are going to decrease your systemic stress levels. So there are a lot of things that you can do. As far as vitamins, you should also check your vitamin D3 levels. Now, I know that when you get a blood test, they're going to tell you that normal is around 20 ng per milliliter, but the actuality is that you need to get your vitamin D3 levels up to around 60 ng per milliliter. And you also want to combine with the D3 vitamin K2 and also magnesium, because a lot of people are deficient in magnesium. As far as the type of magnesium that you want to take, you don't want to take magnesium oxide. I actually take magnesium malate because it's better absorbed. And I think that there's magnesium threonate or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Now, regarding hormonal things, there is ways that you can artificially raise your testosterone level. You can take some pregnenolone. I don't recommend taking that every single day because it might potentially reduce your body's ability to produce natural testosterone. But I take around 50 milligrams of pregnenolone. Let me see how to pronounce it. Pregnenolone, yeah. I take that around once or twice a week. You could, like I said, you take krill oil. You want to take CoQ10 because it's very good for your heart and other things. But that's pretty much what I do. So I don't know if this is right for you. I'm just telling you what I've done. But as far as if I had to rank things, I would say you have to make sure that you, what I've done is you cut out all sugars. So reduce your sugar intake. You take high dose krill oil. You get your vitamin D3 levels checked. The sauna lamp helps. You check your testosterone, you do cold showers, and for me at least, I got off all the medication. So that's pretty much it. If you have questions, then let me know. The other thing that I want to discuss is I want to discuss day trading. So this was a study that was done which looked at 360,000 people. All right, 360,000 people. And the conclusion was, in an average year, 360,000 individuals engage in day trading, while about 13% earn profits net of fees in a typical year. The results of our analysis suggest that less than 1% of day traders, 1,000 out of 360,000, are able to outperform consistently. It is worth emphasizing the outsized alphas earned by the top 500. So you're talking about 100. So the outsized alphas out of 500 out of 360,000. So that's, what is that? That's like 1/6 of 1%, something like that, right? Less than that. So they pick up, so the total, all right, so the outsized alphas of these people is 5 percentage points, meaning that for the top 1/6 of 1%. So what this is telling you is that 359,000 out of 360,000 day traders lose money on a consistent basis. Now, the top 500 out of 360,000, they earn 5% over simply holding an SPY index. That's nothing. So it's not like you're driving expensive cars and buying fancy homes. No, what you're doing when you earn 5% a year, even in the best case scenario, is you're, for the most part, eating off the dollar menu at McDonald's. So you're not driving fat whips and banging hot girls. Instead, what you're doing is you're pretty much giving yourself an extremely low probability of success, right? I mean, that's what it says. Like only 1,000 out of 360,000 make money. And of those people, 500 out of 360,000 earn only 5% a year. So that's why I tell you guys that day trading is a scam and day traders are fraud victims. If you want to look at this study, it's right here, the cross-section is spectacular skill. I'll link to it below. And for the guy who wrote me the email, if you have any questions, I'm here to help you. And let me know, because I just wanted to share this because I think that for many people, his email and the advice that I provide would be helpful. Thanks again. Also, as a follow-up, so he just sent me this email. Just make sure if you ever do mention my story, you don't put the blame on any specific services or other people. I truly believe My losses are my fault. I chose to buy options. I went against math. I used fear of my disability to cause me to use being desperate and afraid to make me taking chances I didn't knew existed or was blind to. It's my fault. No one else. I hit the button. No one else did. I took the risks, and nobody else can be blamed but me. No one else. If someone else can learn to never buy options, especially short-dated ones, then wonderful, but I do not wish to be a part of anything where I blame anyone else. That's why I declined to offer to be in any YouTube blaming anyone else. No one should ever blame another person for their decisions. I truly believe this. It's everyone's own decision for blaming even a bad service. Maybe that's one place we can disagree as smart men. I sure blame no one else for stupid against math gambling. Never ever buy options, regardless of your reasons or advice or anything. Never ever do it. All right, so basically, here's my issue. One, I do believe that you're a victim. Now, whether I don't think it's good to think of yourself as a victim, but I also think that a lot of these services, and I don't remember which ones, I'm not focusing on those two. I'm not commenting specifically on any service, but what I am saying is that a lot of these like day trading gurus or the buying options, what they do is they use marketing that's so amazing that the victim blames themselves for their losses, which I don't believe is true. Like the marketing is so good that the victim is tricked into blaming themselves to think that they're the reason that things didn't go well. But the reality is that it's just math. When you day trade, you're going to lose money, as I showed you with that study. I mean, there's just no way around it. And when you buy options, you're going to lose money. So I definitely think that it's a learning lesson. I'm not here to point the finger. I'm here to move forward. And what I can tell you is just moving forward from the advice that I provided you earlier, I believe that the most important thing is to get your mental health to get that healthy, because if you are healthy, you can make that money back. Is it going to be easy for you to turn 190,000 into 750,000? No, it's not. It's going to take you around probably, like I said, 2 to 3 years. But at the same time, I would definitely, if I was in your situation, please be grateful for the opportunity that you have the chance to make that money back. There is an opportunity for you to make that money back. And you're writing well, you're able to communicate, you're able to trade, you understand how things work. That by itself is a blessing. So yes, you lost money, and you lost a lot of money, $560,000. I also understand that you went to medical school and you're unable to continue working in the medical profession, even though you sacrificed around 10 years of your life with undergrad, residency, medical school, etc., in order to get to that position. But you still have hope. You still have hope. So just learn a monetizable skill, learn something that will pay you dividends in the future, like learning how to sell options, and be patient. Don't be greedy, and don't blame yourself. I think that's the most important thing. And that's the one thing that really comes off in this email, where you blame yourself. But I wouldn't blame anyone. Don't blame these people. Don't blame yourself. Just look at it like a learning lesson. I've made a lot of mistakes, and I don't go back and I don't think about them. I don't ruminate. I just try to think about the present moment and the future. What can I do right now to make my future better? That's what you should think. Don't get down on yourself or get depressed or get really sad about losing the money, because that money's gone. And if you try to make it back too quickly, you're going to lose more. So focus on learning skills and focus on something that you can do in the long term, over 2 or 3 years. And I do believe that if you make good decisions, you'll be able to make that money back. So that's pretty much it. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'm going to post this and I'll send you the video shortly.